All right. The holidays kind of shows quite a bit. People get all uptight when they got to work. They get all upset. I was I was at a shipper today, and they just made me wait. There was nobody there. Just made me wait. Park, 8 feet and 4 feet in front of the door, and don't open the door. They got to break the seal and all that. They just made me wait there, and I don't know. After about an hour, I finally just went back to the shipping office, or receiving office, and said, "Hey, it's been an hour and no one has came to the door." And he says, "He's on the other side of the facility. Let me get him over there to go ahead and unload you." And I'm thinking, why didn't you get him over there to unload me when you first gave me the goddamn door? But I didn't say anything. I said, "Yes, sir." Went back over to the door, and it wasn't long. The door opened, and the guy was you ever had with somebody they're doing something they don't want to do, and the attitude that they have? It was kind of like that. So I broke the seal. I had my own. It had one of them cable locks on it. So I snapped the seal with my own cable lock, and I had the seal in my hand while he's watching me cut the seal. And I reached out to him and I says, "Would you like the seal?" And he says, "Bring the seal to me. I need the seal." I said, "Okay. Okay." I'm listening to his demeanor now. Sometimes a person's demeanor just screams, right? So I hand him the seal. Then he says, "If there are load locks, the load locks must come down." So, I said, "Well, sir, can I go on the dock? And climb up there like that?" He said, he said, "Well, if I have to move them, we're not responsible for any damages." I said, "I understand that, sir." But it was his demeanor, his authoritative way of talking to me, trying to order me around and demand me. And I started thinking, is he trying to hope for, is he upset that he's got to work every day? He looked like he was an Italian Jew. He just looked like he was doing something that he did not want to do. It was as if he was waiting for the days of old that he's heard about in history to come back again. A time when he didn't have to work, where he told others what to do, when he ordered people around, when people worked for him and he just sat back and raked in all the money. He was hoping for a day when he was the head and not the tail. This is the problem today. It's like, I want you to imagine the Romans wanting the good old days back, the days that they've heard about, right? But if they really would study history, they'd realize even though the Romans went around conquering people, stealing all their stuff, hoarding all other people's belongings of the places that they were ordered to conquer. But remember, they were ordered by Caesar to go to these places, and wherever they find infidels, you could kill them, you could maim them, you could screw their wives, you could steal all their possessions, and then bring some of the booty back to Rome, right? Conquer the land, and the land belongs to Rome. You keep some of the booty and give some of it back to Caesar, right? Now, the people that came here had the same fucking ideologies. They were basically servants and slaves. Well, they weren't real slaves, but they were like workers, like they are today, over in England, in Europe. They came here, all of a sudden, They were like Romans. They could go and steal people's stuff, take their property, take their homes, take their gold, fuck their wives, enslave them, work them from sunup to sundown every day of the week for a handful of oatmeal with no shoes on their feet. And they want these days back. If you dare say anything rude, they could whip you, and they could whip you until you bleed damn near to death and say, I hope you learned your goddamn lesson. Don't you ever buck up at me, or don't you ever talk back to me. When I tell you to do something, just get your ass over there and do it. That's what they want. The good old days back. That's what this is about, this prison reform, where they got these inmates. They let them out during the day out of prison to work at, just imagine now. You've been sentenced to prison, and you have restitution to pay. And they come up with a new program. We'll shave some days off of your prison sentence if you go through our work release program, where you work during the day. And just watch some of the videos of some of these people. Matter of fact, when I get a chance, I'm going to highlight one or two of them, because they're all over YouTube, where people, they're just shocked. They're having to work. Or go on my community post. I think I posted one of them, at least one of them. But one day I'm like, I didn't even know this shit was. I knew there were work release programs, and I knew there were all kind of hustles, but I didn't understand the extent to what they're doing with it today. And I'm imagining what it can mutate into in the very near future. And I think these people want their country back. When they say, I want my country back, ask them, say, what do you mean when you say you want your country back? The illegals are coming here, and they're working in warehouses. They're working in the field. They're working in vineyards. They're working in, construction sites and everything like that. What is it that you, the individual, want back? Do you want it to be like the days of Rome, or like the days of the, what do they call it? The days of conquest? Those that came here to this land, and they could just go everywhere they wanted and just take shit, just take somebody's shit, just seize somebody and just work them like a slave, and you sit back and rake in all the money from it? Are you waiting for the good old days to really, really? What exactly do you mean when you say you want your country back? What does that really mean? I really like to know. That attitude from that guy this morning, I was just sitting back, he really was. And finally, I just, before I went back to the truck, I said, I took a couple steps away from him and then turned around sluggishly to give it the full effect, as if I was just beaten down, just frustrated, just whooped. And I took a deep breath, and I turned around, and I took a breath, and I said, Sir, did I do something wrong? He said, no, you didn't do it. I just feel like I've done something wrong. He said, no, you didn't do anything wrong. I totally broke his spirit down by acting like I was a beaten, whooped dog. He turned into a little child right before my eyes. He got up in there and took them goddamn straps down. He unloaded that trailer in about 10 minutes. And when I went back to the office, my bills was sitting on the counter waiting for me to come in and pick them up. I'm just saying, sometimes you got to wonder, all that is built up inside of him. And he's trying to find a way to express how he feels. He wants the good old days. He does not believe that when people are out here and they are discriminated against, they should be able to say anything. Trump wants to reverse all these rights, where you can no longer say, oh, I was discriminated against, I want a lawsuit. They want to overturn all those Supreme Court cases, and then they would like to reverse those Supreme Court cases and all those, and then have that money be given back to the people they were taken from. Trump's talking about restitution for white people. And at first you would think, well, should there be restitution? You have to listen to what he's talking about. He's suggesting if you went to a college university and they told you that you can't get in, sorry, you didn't make the cut. The problem is people are giving them a reason. They should just say, we're sorry, sir, but you didn't meet the cutoff. Try next year. Instead, they're giving them a reason. They're talking about race and diversity and DEA or DEI or whatever, all this diversity. They're talking about diversifying the universities, the colleges, the Walmarts. They're talking about making it inclusive, where there are not 0 blacks working there. Now there's maybe 8 of them working there. He wants to reverse even that. That one university, I can't remember, Harvard or one of them, where they had only like 8 scholarships available for minorities. Like, it was small. Just 8 of them. Well, this is only for like 8 people. And they don't even want black people to have that. That's what you call hatred. He's saying if those 8 people were black and there were some white people that had higher test scores, higher grades, then those white people are going to be sued by the United States Justice Department. Don't take my word for it. Just look at it for yourself. Or go back to my videos, I think a few videos back, where I talked about it. Reparations. Trump wants reparations. He wants reparations. Or is it, he wants reparations. He says the government is going to sue those universities, and the money they get from suing them, he's going to put in a pot to give restitutions and reparations to the people that were discriminated against. Don't take my word for it. Go back and listen to it. Watch it for yourself, because it's up there. Now, those are my thoughts for the moment. I'm just thinking, we're at a time when I think they want like the old Rome back or something, right? Uh-oh, wait a minute here. Uh-oh, well, hold on a second here. Wait a minute here. Okay, we need that to go down. Now, for that to go down, you got to go over and you got to go over now. There we go. They want the good old days back. And I just imagine if you hear that your ancestors took a land by force, right? Enslaved and killed everybody that was here and enslaved everyone you could find to work for you for free, right? And then you wish, damn, why did we give all these people rights? Would you feel the same way if you were those people? I'm going to say, to be honest with you, if I was one of those people, I would probably feel the same way, right? Now, I'm not one of those people, so I don't feel the same way. I'm like, well, we want you to be honest about what you wrote down on paper, like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said. We just want to hold you to what the fuck you wrote down. You said all men are created equal and are born with their own inalienable rights to their own pursuit of happiness. We the people, in order to perform a more perfect union, to establish justice and ensure domestic tranquility. We want domestic tranquility. We want to provide for the common defense, but we want that damn domestic tranquility, and all men are created equal. We are equal citizens. Now, I understand your perspective. When the founding fathers wrote the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights, they had slaves in the backyard. Obviously, when they wrote those words down, were not intended to be for their slaves in the backyard. I agree. But what do you think? You can't reverse course. I just want to know, nobody's really calling them on the carpet. When you say you want your country back, what the fuck do you really mean? And those are my thoughts for the moment.